waiting to see it kick in on my laptop out here. Hopefully today I won't lose connection on my laptop, but my mobile hotspot thing on my phone is acting funny. And that's interesting. I mean, like, it's a new phone, fairly new anyway. My laptop is old. Looking for something to read. There I go. It looks like I'm live on my laptop, so I'll shut off the sound on that so it doesn't interfere. Grand Rising, Jess Palmer. Do I have sound? Because I don't seem to have sound on my PC or my laptop out here. Okay, sweet. I'm trying to decide what to read from for y'all today. I have Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Keats' poetical works, and the love poems of Lord Byron. Any votes? I was just thumbing through Coleridge. We read some of that last time. I read Kubla Khan. I don't know what else to read from. There's so many good things in all three of these books. I've got some poems marked in Keats that are really nice. But Lord Byron always gets me. Heartfelt words. Hope. I don't know. I just felt like being outside today. I don't want to be cooped up. I don't know about the weather where you are, but we finally got some nice weather here. And it's cute in the garden, even though I don't have any of my fairy stuff up yet. Maybe I'll do that today. I don't know. I'm playing it by ear every day, how I feel, whatever. You know, why don't we start out with some random Keats? And if you have a vote or you think of something you'd like to hear from Lord Byron or Coleridge, drop it in the chat and I will begin. Let's start with Ode to a Nightingale. My heart aches, and a drowsy numbness pains my sense as though of hemlock I had drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains. 1 minute passed, and leathwards had sunk. 'Tis not through envy of thy happy lot, but being too happy in thine happiness, that thou, light-winged dryad of the trees, in some melodious plot of beechen green and shadows numberless, singest of summer in full-throated ease. Fade far away, dissolve, and quite forget what thou amongst the leaves hast never known, the weariness, the fever, and the fret, here where men sit and hear each other groan, where palsy shakes a few sad last gray hairs, where youth grows pale and spectre thin and dies, but where to think is to be full of sorrow, and leaden-eyed despairs, where beauty cannot keep her lustrous eyes, or new love pine at them beyond tomorrow. Away, away, for I will fly to thee, not charioted by Bacchus and his pards, but on the viewless wings of poesy, though the dull brain perplexes and retards. Already with thee, tender is the night, and haply the queen moon is on her throne, clustered around by all her starry fays. But here there is no light, save what from heaven is with the breezes blown through verdurous glooms and winding mossing ways. I cannot see what flowers are at my feet, nor what soft incense hangs upon the boughs, but in embalmed darkness guess each sweet, wherewith the seasonable month endows. The grass, the thicket, and the full tree wild, white hawthorn, and the pastoral eglantine, fast fading violets covered up in leaves, and mid-May's eldest child. The coming musk rose, full of dewy wine, the murmurous haunt of flies on summer eves. She cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Ah, happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodist, unwearied, forever piping songs forever new. More happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young, all breathing human passion far above, that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Fun work, yeah. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadest thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by river or seashore, or mountain built with peaceful citadel, is emptied of this folk, this pious morn? And little town, thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate, can never return. O Attic shape, fair attitude, with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity, cold pastoral. When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain in midst of other woe than ours, a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. Oh, got it. Oh, this is the next one. Oh, that's the end of that one. Okay. So let's see. Have we read Ode to Psyche? I don't think that we have. So let's read Ode to Psyche by Keats. O goddess, hear these tuneless numbers rung by sweet enforcement and remembrance dear, and pardon that thy secrets should be sung, even into thine own soft conked ear. Maybe I did read this one. I think I did. Surely I dreamt today, or did I see, the winged Psyche with awakened eye? I wandered in a forest thoughtlessly, and on the sudden, fainting with surprise, saw two fair creatures couched side by side in deepest grass, beneath the whispered roof of leaves and trembled blossoms, where there ran a brooklet scarce espied. Mid hushed, cool-rooted flowers, fragrant-eyed, blue, silver, white, and budded Tyrian, they lay calm breathing on the bedded grass, their arms embraced, and their pinions too. Their lips touched not, but had not bade adieu, as if disjoined by soft-handed slumber, and ready still past kisses to outnumber. At tender-eyed dawn of Aurorian love, the winged boy I knew. But who wast thou, O happy, happy dove, his Psyche true? O latest born and loveliest vision far of all Olympus' faded hierarchy, fairer than Phoebe's sapphire region star, or Vesper, amorous glowworm of the sky. Fairer than these, though temple thou hast none, nor altar heaped with flowers, nor virgin choir to make delicious moan upon the midnight hours. No voice, no lute, no pipe, no incense sweet, from chain swung censer teeming, no shrine, no grove, no oracle, no heat, of pale-mouthed prophet dreaming. O brightest, though too late for antique vows, too late, for the fond believing lyre, when holy were the haunted forest boughs, holy the air, the water, and the fire. Yet even in these days so far retired, from happy pieties thy lucent fans, fluttering among the faint Olympians, I see and sing by my own eyes inspired. So let me be thy choir, and make a moan upon the midnight hours. Thy voice, thy lute, thy pipe, thy incense sweet, from swinged censer teeming, thy shrine, thy grove, thy oracle, thy heat of pale-mouthed prophet dreaming. Yes, I will be thy priest and build a fane in some untrodden region of my mind, where branched thoughts, new grown with pleasant pain, instead of pines, shall murmur in the wind. Far, far around shall those dark clustered trees fledge the wild-ridged mountains steep by steep, and there by zephyrs, streams, and birds and bees, the moss-lain dryads shall be lulled to sleep. And in the midst of this wide quietness, a rosy sanctuary will I dress, with the wreathed trellis of a working brain, with buds and bells and stars without a name, with all the gardener fancied ever could feign, who breeding flowers will never breed the same, and there shall be for thee all soft delight that shadowy thought can win, a bright torch and a casement ope at night to let the warm love in. Ah, that's a nice one. So let's see what we got next. Two watching. Okay. Let's see. I think we read... Did we read Ode to Apollo the other day? I should mark off the ones that I've read so that I don't read them again. I don't know if I read Ode to Apollo to you guys the other day. Joe Cool, what's up, brother? How good to see you today. I'm sure it's lovely and beautiful in sunny Florida today. I'm going to take a little sip of my coffee before I continue. So, yeah, let's do Ode to Apollo. This is a good one. I actually know this one, kind of. Maybe that's why sometimes I get confused and I'm not sure if I've read them aloud. But you can't ever have too much poetry in your life, right? So let's continue. Ode to Apollo. In thy western halls of gold, when thou sittest in thy state, bards that erst sublimely told heroic deeds and sang of fate, with fervor seize their adamantine lyres, whose chords are solid rays and twinkle radiant fires. Here Homer with his nervous arms strikes the twanging harp of war, and even the western splendor warms while the trumpets sound afar. But what creates the most intense surprise, his soul looks out through renovated eyes. Then through thy temple wide melodious swells the sweet majestic tone of Mero's lyre. The soul delighted on each accent dwells, enraptured dwells, not daring to respire, the while he tells of grief around a funeral pyre. 'Tis awful silence then again, expectant stand the spheres, breathless the laureled peers, nor move till ends the lofty strain, nor move till Milton's tuneful thunders cease, and leave once more the ravished heavens in peace. Thou biddest Shakespeare wave his hand, and quickly forward spring, the passions a terrific band, and each vibrates the string that with its tyrant temper best accords, while from their master's lips pour forth the inspiring words. A silver trumpet Spenser blows, and as its martial notes to silence flee, from a virgin chorus flows a hymn in praise of spotless chastity. 'Tis still, wild warblings from the Aeolian lyre enchantment softly breathe and tremblingly expire. Next thy tassos ardent numbers float along the pleased air, calling youth from idle slumbers, rousing them from pleasure's lair. Then over the strings his fingers gently move, and melt the soul to pity and to love. But when thou joinest with the nine, and all the powers of song combine, we listen here on earth, the dying tones that fill the air, the charm that ear of evening fair, from thee, great God of bards, receive their heavenly birth. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I think we're done with snow here. Thank goodness. And so far, my laptop is keeping up, so that's a good thing. Today is hopefully rolling well. I got up and went to say hi to Tony's Coffee House, and then I went and had a short walk down in the park downtown and got myself a lovely handcrafted beverage. Sugar-free, oat milk, very boring. Yeah, I was hoping that even if we hear a little bit of the traffic, the bird sound would be nice for people to enjoy. We have so many birds out here. There's a woodpecker. Let's see if you can hear him. Can you hear him? It's that way. Yeah. And the others, I can't quite hear them all, but my aunt said that there's an app called Merlin or something like that that will identify the bird sounds for you. But I have too much crap on my phone and I don't know how to use a quarter of it, so I don't need one more thing messing me up. So, let's see what else we have. Maybe there's one more in Keats that we can do, and then I'll move on to some Byron. I mean, there's just a ton of very short sonnets. Let's see. Enjoy the chats for a minute while I see what to read next. Okay, we're going to read a couple of very short ones. And then it looks like there's a longer one just after. The Poet. Hi, Tony. Where's the poet? Show him, Muse is 9, that I may know him. 'Tis the man who with a man is an equal, be he king, or poorest of the beggar clan, or any other wondrous thing. A man may be twixt ape and Plato, till the man who with a bird, wren or eagle, finds his way to all in its instincts he hath heard, the lion's roaring, and can tell what his horny throat expresseth, and to him the tiger's yell comes articulate and presseth on his ear like mother tongue. That one was very good, and actually synchronous again, because I've been, studying on the muses and painting them and weird stuff. My life weird, dude. I don't even know what to think about it sometimes. It's so weird. I gave you a little shout out just a moment ago, Tony. Letting people know about your morning shows. And that you usually have a nice open chat there in the mornings. And I had to be out of the house, so today we are reading poetry in the garden, or one of the gardens anyway. I see my dad across the yard. He's working on the big garden where the vegetables will go. But this is just herbs and flowers that I have down here, and this is my one and only private space of yard anyway, where I can, he kind of let me do what I want down here, and I like it. And I had this crappy wooden table pulled up here yesterday, And I was completely shocked, just about blown away, because he was coming down the driveway there. You can see the edge of the driveway. And he called me over to his truck. And he said, you know, one of those little wrought iron sets of Grandpa's would look really cool down there. And I was like, well, it'd look way better than that crappy old wooden table I had down there. And I bring it out just so that I have something to set my junk on when I'm gardening or whatever. And then I keep it tucked back in the woods because it's an eyesore. But if I get to bring one of Grandpa's little wrought iron sets down here, I already brought one of the cute chairs, it will look very pretty. I'm kind of excited and glad that he offered them to me. So, how nice. And a lovely surprise. We all like lovely surprises. So, how's about next we read Modern Love? And what is love? It is a doll dressed up for idleness to cosset, nurse, and dandle, a thing of soft misnomers so divine that silly youth doth think to make itself divine by loving, and so goes on, yawning and doting a whole summer long, till Mrs. Combe is made a pearl tiara, and common Wellingtons turn Romeo boots. Then Cleopatra lives at number 7, and Antony resides in Brunswick Square. Fools, if some passions high have warmed the world, if queens and soldiers have played deep for hearts, it is no reason why such agonies should be more common than the growth of weeds. Fools, make me whole again, that weighty pearl, the Queen of Egypt melted, and I'll say that ye may love in spite of beaver hats. I don't understand that one entirely, but that's okay. Sorry, my hair keeps flying in my mouth despite ponytails and braids galore. Let's see. How about lines on seeing a lock of Milton's hair? Chief of organic numbers, old scholar of the spheres, thy spirit never slumbers, but rolls about our ears. Forever and forever, oh, what a mad endeavor worketh he who to thy sacred and ennobled hearse would offer a burnt sacrifice of verse and melody. How heavenward thou soundest, live temple of sweet noise, and discord unconfoundest, giving delight new joys, and pleasure nobler pinions. O where are thy dominions? Lend thine ear to a young Delian oath, I by thy soul, by all that from thy mortal lips did roll, and by the kernel of thine earthly love, beauty in things on earth and things above, I swear. When every childish fashion has vanished from my rhyme, will I, grey gone in passion, leave to an aftertime, hymning in harmony of thee, and of thy works, and of thy life. But vain is now the burning and the strife. Pangs are in vain, until I grow high rife with old philosophy, and mad with glimpses of futurity. For many years my offering must be hushed. When I do speak, I'll think upon this hour, because I feel my forehead hot and flushed, even at the simplest vassal of thy power. A lock of thy bright hair, sudden it came, and I was startled when I caught thy name, coupled so unaware. Yet at the moment, temperate was my blood. I thought I had beheld it from the flood. That's a nice one. We got 3. Sharing Eve's apple. Oh, blush not so, oh, blush not so, or I shall think you knowing. And if you smile the blushing while, then maidenheads are going. There's a blush for won't, and a blush for shan't, and a blush for having done it. There's a blush for thought, and a blush for not, and a blush for just begun it. Oh, sigh not so, oh, sigh not so, for it sounds of Eve's sweet pippin. By these loosened lips you have tasted the pips, and fought in an amorous nipping. Will you play once more at nice cut core, for it only will last our youth out, and we will have the prime of the kissing time. We have not one sweet tooth out. There's a sigh for yes, and a sigh for no, and a sigh for I can't bear it. Oh, what can be done? Shall we stay or run? Oh, cut the sweet apple and share it. Oh, loveliness! Okay, let's see, what do we got? It's interesting that people scarcely tune in for a reading of poetry or books, but man, if I go and chatter live about my effed up life, I'll get 100 views. Go figure. People love dirty laundry. What can I say? And that's fine too, because, you know, sometimes those things are going to help somebody else out to hear. Somebody who's been through some, man, just incredible stuff. And they think they're alone, and they think nobody's been through the level of hellish nightmare that they have. And then you hear it from someone else that, man, they had it rough too. They had it rough beyond all imagining, and for no good reason, because they're a decent person. They're not messing with anybody. And still people come to wreck you in your home. They seek you out to ruin you or to try. But it's one of those things where, you know, if you have your own personal connection to the Creator, you can rest about it, even when it is really painful and really, really terrible that people go to the lengths that they do to bring you down. You can rest assured that you're not alone, and God never leaves us. I mean, sometimes we can wander away, but Creator did not create you by mistake or for someone else to crush you. Yeah, that happens a whole lot. And sometimes, you know, sometimes it feels like too much. And then you wake up again in the morning, put on your big girl britches, and carry swiftly onward. Let's shift gears. I'm done with Keats. How about, let's see what lies in store with fair Lord Byron. I'm sure there's something inspiring in here to help a poor soul in need of uplifting. What do we got? Okay, I read that one. Good thing I marked that one so I don't read it again. Here's one to Anne. Well, yeah, Joe Cool says, funny thing is they know you're better than them, otherwise they would leave you alone. You would think so, but when you've been kind of shit on all your life, even when you're just kind of minding your own business and walking around doing your own thing, and occasionally stepping in to help someone if you see them suffering, and people still come after you, it's easy to begin to think that there's something wrong with you, and that I don't know, for a long time I felt like I must be cursed or something, because I don't want anything that's not mine or that I didn't work for or didn't get, you know what I mean? I see people in pain or without something, and if I have two, I'll give you one. And sometimes I'll give you both of them if you need them more than I do, and I know I can be fine. But people still come after you, and it can get to you. It really can. It gets to me a lot. And I have to remind myself sometimes daily, you know what? These people that go after innocent folks who are just trying to help out and do their own thing and get by, they are digging their own grave, because they might win in the short term. But a soul is a real thing, and a soul has weight. And everything we do, the Creator knows. And they think they're funny. They think they're clever. They think they're getting ahead. And the more I study the truths that were known throughout history of whatever it is, you know, it becomes very apparent that they may stack up their riches here on earth at the expense of others. And that is all they'll have. You know, the fruit of the Spirit far outweighs your bull honkery, yo. It's just ridiculous. Sharks be everywhere, Mr. Joe. I know it. And they are hungry. And even if they were to get me, I would be a lump in their stomach, because God loves me. And they can kiss my ass. How about that? So this one is called To Anne. So if there's an Anne out there, hello, fair lady, let's enjoy a poem to you. Oh, Anne, your offenses to me have been grievous. Oh, shit, maybe this isn't a nice one. Let's see. I thought from my wrath no atonement could save you, but woman is made to command and deceive us. I looked in your face, and I almost forgave you. You know what? I'm not even going to read this one, because it's not a positive one, and we want no negativity today. I would have rather read something nice to an Anne who might tune in someday, so no. How about this one? It's called Song. That sounds much safer. Breeze of the night in gentler sighs more softly murmur over the pillow, for slumber seals my Fanny's eyes, and peace must never shun her pillow, or breathe those sweet Aeolian strains stolen from celestial spheres above, to charm her ear while some remains, and soothe her soul to dreams of love. But breeze of night, again chill is thy breath, thou breeze of night. Oh, ruffle not those lids of snow, for only morning's cheering light may wake the beam that lurks below. Blessed be that lip and azure eye, sweet Fanny, hallowed be thy sleep. Those lips shall never vent a sigh, those eyes may never wake to weep. That was much nicer. He sounded very angry about that Anne lady, so we skipped it. Yeah, it wasn't nice at all. I was like, dude, I know you was angry at that lady Anne, but don't immortalize it in verse. Oh, that's sad. Let's see. No. Well, this one, the title is, And Wilt Thou Weep When I Am Low? So perhaps that is timely, because some people do not weep when we are low, but dance around like they've done something wonderful. So, let's see what this one's about. I don't know it. And wilt thou weep when I am low? Sweet lady, speak those words again. Yet if they grieve thee, say not so. I would not give that bosom pain. My heart is sad, my hopes are gone, my blood runs coldly through my breast, and when I perish, thou alone will sigh above my place of rest. And yet, methinks a gleam of peace doth through my cloud of anguish shine, and for a while my sorrows cease, to know thy heart hath felt for mine. O lady, blessed be that tear, it falls for one who cannot weep. Such precious drops are doubly dear to those whose eyes no tear may steep. Sweet lady, once my heart was warm, with every feeling soft as thine, but beauty's self hath ceased to charm a wretched created to repine. Yet wilt thou weep when I am low? Sweet lady, speak those words again. Yet if they grieve thee, say not so. I would not give that bosom pain. That's much nicer. Much nicer. Let's see here. Some of these be real sad, yo. Real sad. Let us see. What is next? Maybe we'll set aside Lord Byron and see if we can find something in Coleridge worth reading to use today. And then I might take off and go put my hands in the dirt. Because the dirt and the garden does help one to feel a bit better. Okay, there was Kubla Khan. This one's quite long. It's the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Maybe we won't start that one this late in the game. Let's see what else we've got. Something a bit shorter. But I'll read that one at some point, because these Mariner tales always have something interesting in them. For those of us on the quest. How long is Christabel? Let's see. Quite long. Part 2. Let's see, this is a long one too. Holy crap. Excuse my mouth. I have dropped a few little cuss words here and there. I hope you will forgive me. Lev Kung Fu Shaolin. Hello, we're reading poetry in the garden today. I'm not going to go on for too much longer, but it's always nice to have a little chat open on Sunday for people when they're hanging around in the yard and doing their thing. This one is called Ludi, or the Circassian Love Chant, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. At midnight, by the stream I roved, to forget the form I loved. Image of Ludi, my mind, from my mind, depart, for Ludi is not kind. The moon was high, the moonlight gleam, and the shadow of a star heaved upon Tamahu's stream, but the rock shone brighter far. The rock half sheltered from my view by pendant boughs of tressy yew, so shines my Ludi's forehead fair, gleaming through her sable hair. Image of Ludi, from my mind, depart, for Ludi is not kind. I saw a cloud of palest hue, onward to the moon it passed, still brighter and more bright it grew, with floating colors, not a few, till it reached the moon at last. Then the cloud was wholly bright, with a richer and amber light, And so with many a hope I seek, and with such joy I find my Ludi, and even soul, my pale wan cheek, drinks in as deep a flush of beauty, nay, treacherous image, leave my mind, if Ludi never will be kind. The little cloud, it floats away, away it goes, away so soon. Alas, it has no power to stay. Its hues are dim, its hues are gray. Away it passes from the moon. How mournfully it seems to fly, ever fading more and more, to joyless regions of the sky, and now 'tis whiter than before, as white as my poor cheek will be, when Ludi on my couch I lie, a dying man for love of thee. Nay, treacherous image, leave my mind, and yet thou didst not look unkind. I saw a vapor in the sky, thin and white and very high. I never beheld so thin a cloud, perhaps the breeze that can fly, now below and none now above, have snatched aloft the lawny shroud of lady fair that died for love. For maids as well as youths have perished from fruitless love too fondly cherished. Nay, treacherous image, leave my mind, for Ludi never will be kind. Hush, my heedless feet from under slip the crumbling banks forever, like echoes to a distant thunder, they plunge into the gentle river. The river's swans have heard my tread, and startled from their reedy bed. O beauteous birds, methinks ye measure your movements to some heavenly tune. O beauteous birds, 'tis such a pleasure to see you move beneath the moon. I would it were your true delight to sleep by day and wake all night. I know the place where Ludi lies, when silent night has closed her eyes. It is a breezy jasmine bower, the nightingale sings over her head. Voice of the night, had I the power, that leafy labyrinth to tread, and creep like thee with soundless tread, I then might view her bosom white, heaving lovely to my sight, as these two swans together heave on the gently swelling wave. Oh, that she saw me in a dream, and dreamt that I had died for care. All pale and wasted I would seem, yet fair withal as spirits are. I'd die indeed if I might see her bosom heave and heave for me. Soothe, gentle image, soothe my mind. Tomorrow, Ludi may be kind. Dang. He sounds like he be pining for that woman. I don't know. Yeah. Wake up, have some coffee outside, and enjoy some poetry, and you don't even have to turn the pages yourself, man. And that was delicious. Mmm. Tasty stuff. Let's see. This one is just called Love. All thoughts, all passions, all delights, whatever stirs this mortal frame, all are but ministers of love, and feed his sacred flame. Oft in my waking dreams do I live over again that happy hour, when midway on the mount I lay, beside the ruined tower. The moonshine stealing over the scene had blended with the lights of eve, and she was there, my hope, my joy, my own dear Genevieve. She leant against the armed man, the statue of the armed knight. She stood and listened to my lay amid the lingering light. Few sorrows hath she of her own, my hope, my joy, my Genevieve. She loves me best whenever I sing the songs that make her grieve. I played a soft and doleful air, I sang an old and moving story, an old rude song that suited well that ruin wild and hoary. She listened with a flitting blush, with downcast eyes and modest grace, for well she knew I could not choose but gaze upon her face. I told her of the knight that wore upon his shield a burning brand, and that for 10 long years he wooed the lady of the land. I told her how he pined, and the deep, the low, the pleading tone with which I sang another's love, interpreted my own. She listened with a flitting blush, with downcast eyes and modest grace, and she forgave me that I gazed too fondly on her face. But when I told the cruel scorn that crazed that bold and lovely knight, and that he crossed the mountain woods, nor rested day nor night, that sometimes from the savage den, and sometimes from the darksome shade, and sometimes starting up at once in green and sunny glade, there came and looked him in the face an angel beautiful and bright, and that he knew it was a fiend, this miserable knight, and that unknowing what he did, he leaped amid a murderous band, and saved from outrage worse than death the lady of the land. And how she wept and clasped his knees, and how she tended him in vain, and ever strove to expiate the scorn that crazed his brain. And that she nursed him in a cave, and how his madness went away, when on the yellow forest leaves a dying man he lay. His dying words, but when I reached that tenderest strain of all the ditty, my faltering voice and pausing harp disturbed her soul with pity. All impulses and soul and sense had thrilled my guileless Genevieve, the music and the doleful tale, the rich and balmy eve. And hopes and fears that kindle hope, an undistinguishable throng, and gentle wishes long subdued and cherished long. She wept with pity and delight, she blushed with love and virgin shame, and like the murmur of a dream, I heard her breathe my name. Her bosom heaved, she stepped aside, as conscious of my look she stepped, then suddenly with timorous eye, she fled to me and wept. She half enclosed me with her arms, she pressed me with a meek embrace, and bending back her head looked up and gazed upon my face. 'Twas partly love and partly fear, and partly 'twas a bashful art, that I might rather feel than see the swelling of her heart. I calmed her fears, and she was calm, and told her love with virgin pride, and so I won my Genevieve, my bright and beauteous bride. Oh, that one was lovely! Thank you, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. 'Twas a good one. We enjoyed it so very much. Let's see. Let's find another one. Perhaps just one more. A good one will always make me, want to continue. And that one was great. I liked that one. And that's a variation on my own name, so that's a hopeful, lovely thing. Let's see. Yeah, this one doesn't sound very nice. It's called This Lime Tree Bower My Prison. Who wants to hear about prisons? But maybe we'll learn something from it. So we'll just go ahead and read it anyway, and that will probably round out a nice hour. And hopefully we all enjoyed these lovely poems and learned a bit and had some time together. So, without further ado, let us read This Lime Tree Bower My Prison. It was addressed to Charles Lamb of the India House, London. And let's just read the note in the book about it. In the June of 1797, some long-expected friends paid a visit to the author's cottage, and on the morning of their arrival, he met with an accident which disabled him from walking during the whole time of their stay. One evening, when they had left him for a few hours, he composed the following lines in the garden bower. So, well, they are gone, and here I must remain, this lime tree bower and my prison I have lost. Beauties and feelings, such as would have been most sweet to my remembrance, even when age had dimmed mine eyes to blindness. They, meanwhile, friends, whom I never more may meet again, on springy heath, along the hilltop edge, wander in gladness and wind down perchance to that still roaring dell of which I told. The roaring dell, overwooded, narrow, deep, and only speckled by the midday sun, where its slim trunk from the ash from rock to rock flings arching like a bridge that branchless ash, unsunned and damp, whose few poor yellow leaves never tremble in the gale, yet tremble still, fanned by the waterfall. And there, my friends, behold the dark green file of long, lank weeds, that all at once, a most fantastic sight, still nod and drip beneath the dripping edge of the blue clay stone. Beneath the wide, wide heaven, now my friends emerge, beneath the wide, wide heaven, and view again the many steepled tract magnificent of hilly fields and meadows and the sea, with some fair bark, perhaps, whose sails light up the slip of smooth, clear blue betwixt two isles of purple shadow. Yes, they wander on in gladness all, but thou, methinks, most glad, my gentle-hearted Charles, for thou hast pined and hungered after nature many a year, in the great city pent, winning thy way with sad yet patient soul, through evil and pain and strange calamity. Ah, slowly sink behind the western ridge, thou glorious sun. Shine in the slant beams of the sinking orb, ye purple heath flowers, richlier burn, ye clouds. Live in the yellow light, ye distant groves, and kindle, thou blue ocean. So, my friend, struck with deep joy may stand, as I have stood, silent with swimming sense, yea, gazing round on the wide landscape, gaze till all doth seem less gross than bodily, and of such hues as veil the Almighty Spirit, when yet he makes spirits perceive his presence. A delight comes sudden on my heart, and I am glad, as I myself were there, nor in this bower. This little lime tree bower have I not marked, much that has soothed me. Pale beneath the blaze hung the transparent foliage, and I watched some broad and sunny leaf, and loved to see the shadow of the leaf and stem above, dappling its sunshine, and that walnut tree was richly tinged, and a deep radiance lay full on the ancient ivy which usurps those fronting elms, and now, with blackest mass, makes their dark branches gleam a lighter hue through the late twilight. And though now the bat wheels silent by, and not a swallow twitters, yet still the solitary humble bee sings in the bean flower. Henceforth I shall know that nature never deserts the wise and pure. No plot so narrow be but nature there, no waste so vacant but may well employ each faculty of sense, and keep the heart awake to love and beauty. And sometimes 'tis well to be bereft of promised good, that we may lift the soul and contemplate with lively joy the joys we cannot share. My gentle-hearted Charles, when the last rook beat its straight path along the dusky air, homewards I blessed it, deeming its black wing, now a dim speck, now vanishing in light, had crossed the mighty orb's dilated glory, while thou stoodst gazing, or when all was still, flew creaking over thy head, and had a charm for thee, my gentle-hearted Charles, to whom no sound is dissonant which tells of life. And that was hopeful and lovely. I was afraid it was going to be sad, because it was, about his Lime Tower Bower Prison or whatever. But that was actually quite hopeful and lovely. So that's a good place to end it. We've been going on for 55 minutes, darn near an hour. So I think that's enough time for me to be sitting on my butt reading in the garden. I'm going to get up and walk some more and enjoy the day before I go in and work on my dress. I keep changing my mind about how the sleeves are going to go. So these things take a while. Good designs don't happen quickly sometimes. Sometimes they have to work themselves out. And isn't that something for us to all keep in mind as wisdom? So, I love y'all. Have a happy day and happy hours. Enjoy the sun if you have it, and make it bright if you don't. Much love and fair adieu until the morrow.